Total Marine. Total Marine Racing is a 38-foot formula. Carl Seda is the driver. Tom Caruso is the throttle man. Mercruiser powered, two 500 horsepower imports. TCS Motorsports, the owner of Total Marine Racing. Carl from Bayshore, New York. Tom from Stamford, Connecticut. Other competitors in Factory 2. R&S Racing, Sonic Racing, Snap-on Talk and Tools, of course Herbert Racing, Team Donzi, Harwich Concrete Block, Chances Are, and Total Marine Racing, which we're watching right now. Carl Seda and Tom Caruso on board. 38-foot formula. Beautiful Daytona Beach skyline there in the background. Nice throttling there by Tom Caruso. All right, now we're going to go with Factory Series 2 R&S Offshore Racing. R&S Offshore Racing, a 38-foot formula. Harold Richardson is the driver. Jack Storley is the throttle man. Harold from Franklinville, New Jersey. Jack from Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. Mercruiser powered, two 500 horsepower imports. R&S Offshore Racing, F2. There's Fury on the outside. Fury. Battle here in Factory 2 class. Fury and R&S Offshore Racing. Fury and Super V and R&S Offshore Racing in Factory 2. Fury on the outside, R&S on the inside. Fury a 30-foot phantom. Steve and Ray Delaney on board, driver and throttle man. R&S Offshore Racing F219. It's a formula 38-footer. Around the turn, R&S Offshore Racing. Howard Richardson and Jack Storley. Spectators along the 7-mile bridge. Great vantage point for viewing this race. Round the turn. All right, coming up is Fury on the inside and Total Marine Racing on the outside. We're going to go with Fury. 30-foot Phantom, powered by Thunderstruck engines. Steve Delaney, the driver. Ray Delaney is the throttle man. Steve from California, Ray from Sarasota, Florida. Took a third place in Daytona earlier in the season. Total Marine on the outside, 38-foot Formula. Carl Seda is the driver. Tom Caruso is the throttle man. Mercruiser powered Total Marine Racing. Of course, Total Marine and Factory 2 Fury in the Super V-Light class. Total Marine took a fourth place in Daytona. Racing in Factory 2. As we get a little closer, we can tell you that it is a 38-foot Formula. Mercruiser powered, 2 500 horsepower inboards. Carl Seda is the driver. Tom Caruso is the throttle man. Carl is from Bayshore, New York. Tom from Stamford, Connecticut. 38-foot Formula. There they are. Carl and Tom doing a fine job aboard Total Marine Racing. Took a fourth place in Daytona a couple of weeks ago. This 38 Formula owned by TCS Motorsports. Offshore Racing, a 38-foot Formula. Howard Richardson is the driver. Jack Storley is the throttle man. They're from New Jersey. RNS Offshore is currently in fourth place in the national point standings. They took a third in Marathon, a second place in Cape Cod. Sponsors, Formula Racing and Sirius Satellite Radio. Special thanks to Mike Beekler for equipment sales. This boat finished in fourth place in the Worlds last year. Crew members include Jack Lawson and Marie Richardson. Currently in fourth place in this race right now, R&S Offshore Racing. You're watching race number 2 of 3 races here in Savannah. Fourth stop on the national tour, APBA. This is race number 2. Great racing yesterday. Sirius Satellite Radio with their sponsors. Total Marine Racing, 38-foot Formula. The driver is Mr. Jim Arvis. Tom Caruso, the throttle man. Carl Seda, the owner of Total Marine Racing. It's a 38 formula, as we said. It's powered by Merc Cruiser 2 500 horsepower inboards. This boat also was sponsored by Sirius Satellite Radio and Formula. Total Marine, Factory 2. Nice driving there by Mr. Jim Arvis. Tom Caruso on throttle. Another major sponsor for Total Marine Racing, Roger & Sons Food Service Equipment and Supplies. Nice jump there by Total Marine Racing. And as we look to our left, it seems that Team Donzie has missed a turn, putting him farther back in the pack. There's Total Marine Racing. Total Marine Racing, a 38-foot formula. Jim Arvis, the driver. Tom Caruso. All right, now let's go with RNS Offshore Racing with Howard Richardson and Jack Storley, driver and throttle man. It's a 38-foot formula, Merc Cruiser power, 2 500 horsepower Merc Cruiser inboards. Currently in third place in the national point standings. Took a third in Marathon, a third in Savannah, and a second in Cape Cod. RNS Offshore Racing in Factory 2. RNS Offshore Racing with Howard Richardson and Jack Storley on board as we get a closer look at F219. There we see a little bit of damage there, possibly from a little collision with Twisted Sticks earlier in the race, but not slowing them down at all. Currently in third place now. If it continues in third place right now, RNS Offshore Racing could possibly move into second in the national point standings ahead of Herbert Racing. Sponsors include Formula Racing, Sirius Satellite Radio, and a special thanks to Mike Beeler of Equipment Sales. Other crew members include Jack Lawson and Marie Richardson. Jack from Egg Harbor, New Jersey, and Marie Richardson from Franklinville, New Jersey. RNS Offshore Racing currently in third place. Harwich Concrete in first, Team Donzie in second, and RNS in third in Factory 2. Around the turn, R&S Offshore Racing. Coming up now, there is Total Marine Racing. Total Marine F232. It's a 38-foot formula. Mercruiser Power. Jim Arvis is the driver. Tom Caruso, the throttle man. Currently in 6th place in the national point standings. Total Marine. Another F2 boat. Jim from Mechanicsville, Virginia. Tom from Stamford, Connecticut. This same crew, Jim Arvis and Tom Caruso, took a checkered flag yesterday in Mountain Dew. Nice throttling there by Tom Caruso. Jim Arvis at the wheel. Total Marine. You're watching race number 2 here, this Cleveland Offshore Grand Prix, the 5th stop, national stop on the APBA Pro Tour. Where's Corpus Christi next, then the Bahamas for the national championships, and Key West for the Worlds. 6-foot formula. It's Mercury powered. Patrick Dunn is the driver. Jeff Cresciano is the throttle man. They're from Michigan. 2 500 horsepower Mercury inboards. Let's play racing. F224. Other competitors in Factory 2, we got Harwich Concrete, Sonic Racing, Speedwear, Herbert Racing, Team Donzi, Snap-on Talking Tools, Twisted Sticks, R&S Offshore Racing, Total Marine, Speedwear. Lots of competitors in Factory 2. Patrick Dunn and Jeff Cresciano. Grade 2 class, Harwich Concrete. We just saw them. We just took them to the finish line. Took a checkered flag there, followed by Team Donzi and R&S Offshore Racing in third. Harwich, the checkered flag in Factory 2 class. Well-deserved. They led all the way right from the green. In Factory 1 class, Team BRE, the winner, followed by H2O Motorsports and Typhoon in third. Team BRE, your winner in Factory 1 class. In Outlaw A, Mountain Dew coming out on top. Grumpville Men in second. Dan Carrera in third. Mountain Dew, the checkered flag in Outlaw A. And your winners in Performance 1 and 2. First off in Performance 1, Out for Justice in first place, followed by How Sweet It Is in second place. In Performance 2, your winner, Obsession. And in Performance 3, Dirty Cash, followed by Bring It On and Team TKO, Dirty Cash, the checkered flag in Performance 3. In Performance 4, the Bat Boat, followed by Cool Running and Miss Cigarette, the Bat Boat getting the checkered flag in Performance 4. All right, after these two races in Cleveland, here are your national point standings as follows in the various classes. First off in Super V, Nick Cutter Racing, Media Master, Phoenix Waste, and International Offshore. In Super V Light Single, Vortec Extreme, Fury, High Noon Racing, and Solarized. In Super V Light Twin, Pier 57, Stainless Marine, Hoods Quality Foods, Rodriguez Group, and Lucas Oil. In Factory 1, Typhoon, followed by Activator, Flashwave, H2O Motorsports, Chicks Beach Offshore, and High Energy Racing. Now, Typhoon had been in third place in Factory 1, moved all the way up to first place in the national point standings. In Factory 2, Team Donzi, followed by RNS Offshore Racing, Herbert Racing for a Cure, Harwich Concrete Block, Snap-on Talking Tools, and Total Marine. In that class, RNS Offshore Racing went from third, moving up to second. Herbert Racing now is in third place. And those are your national point standings in the respective classes after two races here in Cleveland. Great racing, but most of all, safe racing here at the Cleveland Offshore Grand Prix. Before we go, there are a few people that we would like to thank. First off, the entire staff of the APBA for orchestrating the fine event. Of course, Gary and Nancy Johnson for their fine camera work. Our helicopter pilot, Mr. Nick McMahon from McMahon Helicopter Services. This is Vince Lipari wishing you a fond farewell from Cleveland, Ohio. See you at the next APBA race in Corpus Christi, Texas. Bye, everyone. All right, there is on the inside coming up. There's Total Marine Racing. Total Marine Racing, a 38-foot formula. Mercruiser Power 2, 500 horsepower inboards. Jim Arvis is the driver. Tom Caruso is the throttle man. Jim from Virginia, Tom from Connecticut. Carl Seda is the owner of Total Marine Racing. This boat took a third place in Cape Cod, a fourth in Savannah, a fourth in Texas, and a fifth place in the National Point Championships. Total Marine Racing in Factory 2. Main sponsor, their Sirius Satellite Radio and Total Marine. Jim Arvis and Tom Caruso on board this 38-foot formula.
Inside.
Speedwear on the outside. Total Marine on the inside. In Mallory Square. Round the turn. All right, now let's go with RNS Offshore Racing. It's a 38-foot formula, Mercruiser powered, two 500-horsepower inboards. Howard Richardson is the driver. Jack Storley's a throttle man. Howard from New Jersey. Jack from Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. This boat took a third in Savannah, third in Cleveland, second in Corpus Christi, and a third in Marathon. It took a second place on the National Point standings for this year. RNS Offshore Racing. Sponsors include Formula Racing and Sirius Satellite Radio. Special thanks to Mike Beekler of the Equipment Sales for Satellite Radio. Special thanks to other crew members including Jack Lawson and Marie Richardson. Nice driving there by Mr. Howard Richardson. Jack Storley on throttle. There's Total Marine Racing on the outside. Total Marine with Jim Arvis and Tom Caruso in Factory 2. And that is the end of race number 2. The Factory 1 and Factory 2 boats. A lot of exciting racing, of course. We saw what happened to Harwich Concrete's Christopher Wigstrom being thrown out of the boat. Almost, not quite. He was able to grab himself on the handrail and managed to get back to the cockpit. Luckily, he is okay. Quite dramatic and violent couple of seconds there on board Harwich Concrete, but everything seemed to be working out all right. There are, of course, lots and lots of spectators along watching this race number 2 of these World Championships here in Key West, APBA. In just a moment, we will have the rundown, the winners after this race number 2, which featured the Factory 1 and the Factory 2 boats. 7 races in all. We got 5 more to go here at these World Championships. There, the Truman Annex, the racing village for these World Championships. Beautiful day here in Key West. All right, the winners in Factory 2 class, Speedware getting the checker flag, coming up in first place. RNS Racing in second, and Herbot Treadwell Racing in third place. Speedware all the way, getting the checkered flag in Factory 2. All right, in Factory 1, High Energy Racing, we just saw a little while ago. Took them to the finish line in first place, followed by Typhoon Racing in second, and Velocity VR1 in third. High Energy in first place in Factory 1 class. Offshore, Total Marine, Sonic Racing, Twister, and Snap-on Talking Tools on the far outside. Harwich Concrete coming back into the picture on the inside. Just a few moments away from the green here in the Factory 2 start in Race 6. Herbert Donzie Speedware, Let's Play Racing, RNS Offshore, Total Marine, Sonic, Twister, and Snap-on Talking Tools. They are just about ready, waiting now. And we've got a green flag for race number 6 here at the 2002 APBA World Championships in Key West. And there's Harwich Concrete, Herbert Racing, Donzi Speedway, Let's Play Racing, RNS Offshore, Total Marine, Sonic Twister, and Snap-on Talking Tools. Everyone off to a great start in the final race of Factory 2. And your leader right now is Herbert Racing in the early moments of this race with Eric Treadwell and Greg Hukari. Harwich Concrete on the inside, Speedway on the outside. Herbert Racing, your leader as they go around the turn. Speedway now picking up something on the outside, and it's Harwich Concrete on the inside. A fountain and a formula. RNS Offshore on the outside took a second place the other day on Wednesday, second place in Factory 2. One of the cruise ships here in Key West. Of course, a little bit different this time around because those cruise ships there, we're not going all the way into the various resorts like the Pier House. We're making a left before we go all the way into Mallory Square because the cruise ships are there. RNS Offshore Racing on the outside, Harwich Concrete on the inside. There's Snap-on Talking Tools on the outside, looking upfield. And Total Marine on the inside. Total Marine, a 38-foot formula. Jim Arvis and Tom Caruso, driver and throttle men on board. It's Mercruiser powered, two 500-horsepower Mercruiser inboards. Took a 5th place the other day on Wednesday, Factory 2. Total Marine. Jim from Mechanicsville, Virginia. Tom from Stanford, Connecticut. Mr. Carl Sada, the owner of Total Marine Racing, F232. .38-foot formula, Mercruiser powered. Jim Arvis and Tom Caruso on board. Lots and lots of spectators having watched race number 6, and of course awaiting race 7, the Super Cat and Super Cat Light, which will take place in a few moments. All right, let's go with Factory 2 winners. Now we got Speedway in first place. Total Marine at second. Snap-on Talking Tools in third. Speedway getting the checker flag. We saw that in Factory 2. And Speedware will be your world champion in Factory 2. Here is a rundown on the points. Ice points for Speedware, followed by RNS Offshore Total Marine in third. Speedware, your world champion in Factory 2 class. Speedware was your world champion in 99, did not race in 2000, almost was your world champion in 2001. And here it is, 2002, world champion in Factory 2 class here in Key West. Congratulations to Todd Welding and Lance Hendrickson, driver and throttleman on Speedware, world champion 2002, Factory 2. All right, in Factory 1, Typhoon getting the checkered flag, followed by Radioactive and Activator in third. Typhoon in first place in Factory 1 class here in race number 6. And Typhoon will be your world champion there with the most points. Typhoon, world champion in Factory 1, followed by Activator and Flashwave. Typhoon also was your world champion in 2000 in Factory 1. So a number of repeat performances by some of these competitors in the various classes. Typhoon, your world champion 2002, Factory 1 here in Key West. So that's it. Great racing for race number 6. Freeze Frame Video Production, certainly proud to be a part of it. A few mishaps, but no major problems. Everyone is safe. Now, before we go, there are a few people that we would like to thank. First off, our helicopter pilot, Mr. Russell Kilpatrick. Also, Gary and Nancy Johnson for their fine camera work. Special thanks to Eve for all of her help during the 2002 racing season. Mr. Jim Fisher for his help on the onboard cameras. And, of course, the entire staff of the APBA for orchestrating this fine event. So this is Vince Lipari on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the rest of the Freeze Frame Video Production crew, wishing everyone a fond farewell from Key West, Florida, hoping to see you at the 2003 APBA Racing Campaign. Bye, everyone.